Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into something absolutely legendary. A world where 300 men faced 1,000,000, where death was preferable to dishonor, and where making yourself beautiful was the first step to making everything else very, very ugly. We're diving into what it was really like to be one of the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae. Forget the Hollywood version with slow motion abs and dramatic speeches. The truth? You probably wouldn't survive the training to even make it to this suicide mission. So before we march into this final stand together, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you're ready to witness the most glorious last stand in human history. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from tonight. It's incredible to see who's brave enough to face impossible odds with us. Now dim those lights, maybe grab something strong. You're going to need courage for what's coming. Picture the narrow pass between mountain and sea, where the fate of Western civilization balanced on the edge of 300 spear tips. Let's step into this legend together, the story of when Spartans combed their hair, named their spears, and taught the world what beautiful death really means. Congratulations, you've just woken up in the year 480 BCE, not in your comfortable bed with memory foam and Egyptian cotton sheets. No, you're lying on hard-packed earth, wrapped in a rough woolen cloak that smells distinctly of sweat, smoke, and something you pray isn't your own fear. The stars above are the same ones you know, but everything else is about to go spectacularly, horrifically wrong. You're a Spartan hoplite, one of 300 hand-picked warriors, chosen by King Leonidas himself. The honor should make you proud. Instead, your stomach churns with the knowledge that you're about to face the largest army the world has ever seen. And the worst part, you volunteered for this. The ground beneath you is still warm from yesterday's sun, but the pre-dawn air carries a chill that has nothing to do with temperature. Around you, your brothers in arms are stirring. No one's really been sleeping anyway. How could you, when tomorrow, today, now, you're going to die? But first, you need to make yourself beautiful. Yes, beautiful, because that's what Spartans do before they die. You reach for your comb, a simple thing of carved bone, and begin working through your hair, long hair, because in Sparta, that's the mark of a free man, a warrior. The Persians are about to learn what 300 men with fabulous hair can accomplish. They're combing their hair, the Persian scout had reported back to Xerxes yesterday, voice dripping with disbelief, just sitting there in front of their wall, exercising naked and grooming themselves. Xerxes had laughed. The most powerful man in the world, commander of an army so vast it drank rivers dry, and he'd laughed at you. He'd learned soon enough that when Spartans make themselves pretty, it's because they're about to make everything else very, very ugly. The sun creeps over Mount Calydromus, like it's reluctant to witness what's coming. Can't blame it. You've strapped on your bronze breastplate, all 30 pounds of it, and hefted your shield. The Espus is a work of art, really. 3 feet across, faced with bronze, backed with wood and leather. On its face, the letter lambda for Lacedaemon. Simple, elegant. About to be painted with Persian blood. Your spear feels heavier than usual. 8 feet of cornel wood tipped with iron. You've named it, because of course you have. Spartans name their spears like other people name their dogs. Yours is called Negotiator. Your sword, hanging at your right hip, is the final argument. Leonidas is making his rounds. At 60 years old, he moves like a man half his age. Has to. Spartan kings who show weakness don't tend to stay kings. Or alive. He stops at each small group, not giving speeches, just being there, being seen. When he reaches your position, his eyes meet yours. Ready to die gloriously, he asks, and it's not really a question. Ready to make them die ingloriously first, you reply. He almost smiles. Spartan kings don't really do smiles. Bad for morale. The narrow pass of Thermopylae stretches before you, 50 feet wide at its narrowest point. On your right, the cliffs rise sheer and impassable. On your left, the sea, And in front, the earth itself seems to tremble. They're coming. You've seen big armies before, fought against Argos, against Messenia. But this isn't an army. This is a natural disaster, with spears. They come in waves, each more exotic than the last. First, the Medes in their felt caps and scale armor that glitters like snakeskin. Then the Scythians with their turbans, the Hyrcanians, the Assyrians with their bronze helmets and wooden clubs studded with iron. It's like someone decided to throw a military fashion show and invited every nation from here to India. The immortals march past in their golden pomegranate-tipped spears, 10,000 of them, each one replaceable. If one falls, another takes his place. Always 10,000. Never more, never less. Must be hell on their recruitment department. Then come the Ethiopians, and you have to blink twice. They're wearing leopard skins and lion pelts, carrying spears tipped with gazelle horn. Their bodies are half painted with chalk, half with red ochre. They look like they've escaped from an artist's fever dream. Behind them, Indians in cotton clothing, cotton, in battle, leading war chariots pulled by wild asses. Wild asses. You can't make this stuff up. The Scythian Sakai pass in their pointed caps, carrying their signature double-curved bows. The Arabian camel cavalry. The Lydians, who look almost disappointingly normal, like Greeks who've lost their way. Hour after hour, they stream past. Your neck starts to hurt from looking up at the war elephants. Yes, elephants. Because apparently, 1 million men wasn't quite enough. They needed to bring their pets too. By midday your legs are cramping from standing still, and they're still coming. Thracians with fox-skin caps. Thracians, Messenians. Libyans carrying shields made of crane skin. Crane skin. Someone in your phalanx mutters, "How many nations did he piss off to get this coalition?" "All of them," comes the reply. Xerxes collected countries like a child collects pebbles. Here's something they don't tell you about facing impossible odds. It's boring. Mind-numbingly, knee-shakingly boring. You stand there watching Death Parade past in Technicolor, and your mind starts doing the mathematics of mortality. 300 Spartans, maybe 7,000 other Greeks who've shown up to help, the Speans, Thebans, some others. Call it 7,000 total, against, what, 1 million? 2 million? The Persians claim 5 million, but Persians lie like they breathe, constantly, and without thinking about it. Let's be conservative. Say it's only 300,000, that's still roughly 43 Persians per Greek. 43. You've got 2 spears, one might break. A sword, a knife, and righteous indignation. They've got the accumulated military might of half the known world. The math isn't good. But here's the thing about Spartans. You've been doing impossible math since you were 7 years old. The Argoge, your brutal education system, taught you that numbers are just numbers. Pain is just pain. Death is just death. What matters is how you face them. Still, 43-1. A thespian hoplite next to you. You can tell by his shield design. He's literally shaking. Poor bastard. He's a citizen soldier, probably a farmer most of the year. Couple of months of training maybe. Now he's standing next to you, trying not to soil his bronze. First time, you ask, not unkindly. He nods, not trusting his voice. Here's the secret. You tell him, you're already dead. Accept it. Embrace it. Once you're dead, everything else is just detail. He stares at you like you've grown a second head. These other Greeks, they just don't get Spartan philosophy. Finally, mercifully, the parade ends. Xerxes himself appears, carried on a throne so massive it takes 300 men to move it. 300. Cute. 1 per Spartan. Even his furniture choices are symbolic. He's younger than you expected. Handsome. In that soft Persian way. Draped in enough gold to fund a small city-state for a year. When he looks down at your position, you swear you can see him squinting, trying to figure out where the rest of your army is hiding. Spoiler alert, there isn't one. A herald rides forward. Here it comes. The offer. There's always an offer. King Xerxes, Lord of Lords, Light of the Aryans, Chosen of the Haramazda. The titles go on for about 5 minutes. Offers mercy to those who lay down their arms. Join the forces of the great king and be rewarded beyond measure. Resist, and what? Leonidas interrupt. He's moved to the front, standing barely 10 feet from the herald. We die. We know. We knew that when we marched here. Your king has made an error. What error? The herald can't help himself. He brought too many. All those men, they'll just get in each other's way. Me, I brought just enough to kill until our arms grow too tired to lift our spears. Just enough to make a wall of corpses so high your king will have to climb it himself if he wants to pass. Just enough to show the world that Persians bleed, just as red as anyone else. The herald's face has gone pale. The great king demands. The great king can demand my sandals kiss his ass. Get out of my sight before I decide to start this battle with you. The herald flees. Good career move. They send the Medes first. Makes sense. They're good troops. Been with the Persian Empire since Cyrus. They come at you in waves. Their short spears glinting. Their scale armor rattling like 1,000 metallic snakes. This is it. The moment where all your training, all your preparation, all your bronze ball bravado meets reality. The phalanx locks shield. The man to your right overlaps his shield with yours. You overlap with the man on your left. A bronze wall presenting nothing but spear points and bad attitude to the enemy. The Medes charge and bounce off like children hitting a brick wall. Your spear punches through scale armor like it's made of parchment. The man dies with a surprised look on his face, as if he can't quite believe that his magnificent outfit didn't stop 8 feet of iron-tipped wood. You twist the spear, pull it free, thrust again. Another Mede down. Another. This is the Spartan killing machine at work. No wasted motion, no heroics. Just thrust, twist, pull, thrust, like you're harvesting wheat. Only messier. The Medes keep coming. Their short spears can't reach past your longer ones. Their wicker shields might as well be made of hopes and dreams for all the good they do against Greek bronze. They die by the dozens, by the hundreds, and still they come. Your arm starts to burn. Thrust, twist, pull, thrust. A Mede gets lucky, slides his spear past your defenses, scores a line across your thigh. You barely feel it. Adrenaline is wonderful that way. You'll feel it later, if there is a later. The phalanx pushes forward. This is the key. You don't just stand there and let them come. You push. Every dead Persian, you step forward, claim that ground. Make them fight over their own dead. Make them slip in their brother's blood. An hour, 2, time stops meaning anything. There's just the rhythm. Thrust, twist, pull, thrust. Your world narrows to the 3 feet in front of your spear point. Everything else is peripheral. Then, suddenly, they're running. The Medes are actually running away. A cheer goes up from the Greek lines, but Leonidas shuts it down with a gesture. Save your breath, he growls. That was just the appetizer. He's right. Here come the Scythians. Same result. Then the Hyrcanians. The narrow pass negates their numbers. They can only come at you 40 or 50 at a time. Meanwhile, you're fighting in a formation you've trained in since childhood. It's not even close to fair. By the third wave, you've developed a system. The front rank fights until exhausted, then seamlessly switches with the second rank, the second with the third. By the time the third rank is tired, the first has caught their breath. It's almost beautiful, in a blood-soaked, horrifying sort of way. The Persians, meanwhile, are learning what Leonidas meant about having too many men. They're trampling each other, trying to get away from the killing ground. Officers with whips are literally beating their own men to force them forward. Nothing says morale problem quite like having to whip your soldiers into battle. During a brief lull, the Persians are apparently debating which lucky nation gets to die next. You finally have time to look around. The ground in front of the phalanx looks like an open-air butcher shop. Bodies stacked 2-3 deep in places. The smell is, well, let's just say bronze isn't the only thing that's metallic in the air. Your thigh's throbbing now. The cut's deeper than you thought. Blood has run down into your sandal, making your foot squelch with every step. Delightful. You alright? It's the thespian from earlier. He's got someone's brains splattered across his shield and a wild look in his eyes. But he's still standing. Never better. You lie. I think I'm already dead, he says. And there's wonder in his voice. I'm dead, and this is the afterlife. And we just keep fighting forever. You clap him on the shoulder. Now you're thinking like a Spartan. The sun is getting low when the immortals arrive. Finally, the elite, the best Persia has to offer. 10,000 men who've never known defeat. They're about to. They come in perfect formation. Their spears longer than the regular Persian forces. Their armor heavier. These aren't conscripts or subject nations. These are professionals. The clash, when it comes, is like thunder. For the first time all day, the phalanx staggers. These immortals know their business. They probe for weaknesses, exploit gaps. A Spartan 2 men down from you takes a spear through the throat, goes down gurgling. The line shifts to compensate, but the immortals surge forward. This is when Leonidas earns his kingship. Spartans, his voice cuts through the din like a blade. What is your profession? I woo. 300 voices roaring in unison. The war cry of Sparta, the sound that's made armies soil themselves from Messania to Argos. Push, and you push. God, do you push? Every muscle screaming, your wounded leg threatening to buckle. But you push. The man behind you pushes. The man behind him pushes. The entire weight of the phalanx, driving forward like a bronze avalanche. The immortals break, not all at once. They're too good for that. But step by step, death by death, they're forced back. Your spear, when did you name it? Negotiator, seems like a lifetime ago. Finds gaps in their armor, pierces throats, groins, the spaces between their scales. Then you do something that would make any Persian military manual writer weep. You pretend to run. It's a classic Spartan trick. The whole phalanx turns and runs. Not a rout, but a controlled withdrawal. The immortals, sensing victory, surge forward, their formation loosening as they pursue. Then at a single command, you wheel around. 300 spears leveled at belly height. The immortals run straight onto them, momentum doing half the work for you. The slaughter is absolute. Darkness saves the Persians. Even Xerxes isn't stupid enough to send men to fight Spartans in the dark. As the last immortal limps away, a cheer goes up from the Greek lines. This time, Leonidas lets it happen. You've survived day one. The butcher's bill is, well, miraculous is one word. The Persians have lost thousands. The Greeks, maybe a few dozen. You personally stopped counting after your 100th kill. Your spear is slick with gore. Your sword, when did you draw your sword, is notched from hitting bone. You're alive. Somehow, impossibly, stupidly alive. Camp is a relative term. You sleep where you fought, among the corpses, too tired to care about the smell, the flies, the moaning of the enemy wounded. Someone passes around wineskins. The wine tastes like nectar, like life itself. Think they'll come again tomorrow? Someone asks. Of course they will, Leonidas answers. He's making rounds again, checking on his men. They have to. Xerxes can't let 300 Spartans stop the largest army in history. His reputation would never recover. Good, you mutter. Let him come. My spear's still sharp, but your bravado is hollow, and everyone knows it. You've been lucky. Impossibly, insanely lucky. Tomorrow, the Persians will adapt. Tomorrow, they'll try something new. Tomorrow, Tomorrow, you'll probably die. The thespian, you never did get his name, finds you as you're trying to clean the worst of the gore off your equipment. Pointless really. It'll just get dirty again tomorrow, but it's something to do. Can I ask you something? He's got that 1,000-yard stare that comes from seeing too much too fast. Why are you here? You consider lying, spouting some noble bullshit about defending Greece, about honor and glory. But he deserves better, because I was ordered to be, you say simply. Leonidas picked me, and when your king says jump off a cliff, you ask him if you want a running start. That's it. Just orders? No. You pause, trying to find words for something you've never really examined. We're here because someone has to be. Someone has to stand in this pass and tell Xerxes no. Someone has to show the world that you can't just march wherever you want just because you have a big army. And if someone has to do it, might as well be the professionals. The thespian finishes. He almost smiles. We volunteered, you know. My whole city. When we heard what was happening, we voted. Every man who could hold a spear. Why? Now it's his turn to struggle for words. Because you were here. If Spartans could face this, how could we do less? How could we look our children in the eye and say we stayed home while 300 men held the line? You don't have an answer for that. Don't need one. You sit in companionable silence. 2 dead men waiting for dawn. The second day starts with a surprise. No mass charge. No waves of expendable troops. Instead, the Persians have been busy overnight. They've built mantlets, portable shields, big enough to shelter multiple men. They've scavenged shields from their dead, creating makeshift protection. Someone over there has been thinking. Well, Leonidas observes, at least it won't be boring. The first attack comes with archers, thousands of them, sheltering behind the mantlets, filling the air with arrows. The famous blot out the sun moment. And someone, was it Dianekes, actually says it. Good. Then we'll fight in the shade. Spartans, making jokes while arrows fall like deadly rain. Your shields go up, creating a roof. Arrows slam into the bronze, like hail on a roof. Most bounce off, some find gaps. A man 3 down from you, takes one through the eye, drops without a sound. The line closes. Always. The line closes. Then comes the clever part. While you're huddled under shields, Persian work crews rush forward with the mantlets. They're trying to create a fortified position closer to your lines, trying to negate your reach advantage. Well, you mutter, can't have that. What follows is less battle and more demolition work. Small groups of Spartans rush out between arrow volleys, spears, and swords, working to destroy the mantlets, kill the work crews. It's insanely dangerous. You see men you've known since childhood shot down meters from safety. But it works. The Persian advance stalls. Then they try another tactic, cavalry. Now cavalry in a narrow pass against a spear wall is generally what military theorists call fucking stupid. But the Persians are desperate. They send in their best, Bactrian horsemen, magnificent in their scale armor. Their horses equally protected. It's a massacre. Horses, it turns out, are smarter than people. They see a wall of spear points and think, nope. They rear, throw their riders, crash into each other. Your spears find the gaps in their armor, punch through horse and rider alike. The screaming of wounded horses mixes with the screams of men. The pass becomes a charnel house of broken animals and broken men. By noon, Xerxes has pulled his forces back. You can see his royal pavilion from your position. Can see the crowds of officers and advisors. Someone's getting yelled at. Probably multiple someones. Possibly getting executed. Persian management techniques are not known for their gentleness. The afternoon brings a new horror. Fire. The Persians have brought up naphtha, Greek fire, whatever you want to call it. They load it into pots, light it, and have their strongest men hurl it at your lines. Suddenly, You're not just fighting men, you're fighting flames. A pot smashes near you, spreading liquid fire across the ground. The heat is incredible. Your bronze armor, already hot from the sun, becomes an oven. Men are screaming, rolling on the ground, trying to put out flames. The phalanx wavers. Hold, Leonidas's voice, iron hard. Hold the line. You hold, because that's what Spartans do. You hold while men burn. You hold while the Persians charge again, trying to exploit the chaos. You hold while your spear shaft starts to smolder from the heat. The Thespians prove their worth here. They've brought water, lots of. While you hold the line, they fight the fires, drag burning men to safety, throw dirt on the flames. It's not glorious. It's not heroic. It's just necessary. By the time the sun starts to sink, the fires are out, and the Persian attack has failed. Again. But the cost, you've lost maybe 50 men total. The Persians have lost thousands. But your 50 are irreplaceable. Their thousands are a rounding error. The mathematics of attrition. You're winning every battle and losing the war. The second night is different, quieter. The initial adrenaline has worn off, replaced by a bone-deep exhaustion. Your thigh wound has opened up again, seeping blood through the rough bandage. Everything hurts. Parts of you hurt that you didn't even know could hurt. Around the camp, men are tending to wounds, sharpening weapons, praying to whatever gods might be listening. The Thebans are arguing among themselves. You catch words like futile and surrender. The Thespians are grimly determined, checking their equipment with the mechanical movements of men who've accepted their fate. And the Spartans are doing each other's hair. It's almost surreal. Here you are, surrounded by death, and your brothers are braiding each other's locks, applying scented oil they've somehow saved for this moment, making themselves beautiful for their last day. Because everyone knows, tomorrow, one way or another, this ends. Leonidas makes his rounds one more time. When he reaches you, he pauses. That leg going to hold up? It'll hold long enough, you tell him. He nods. I've sent away the allied contingents, told them to spread the word about what happened here. Only volunteers stay for tomorrow. And the Thespians are staying, all of them. The Thebans, he shrugs. Some will stay, some won't, their choice. And us? He actually smiles this time. A real smile. We're Spartans, we don't get a choice. We have orders. Orders. Hold the pass. Buy time. Die well. Simple orders. The best kind. You don't sleep. None of you do. There's too much to do. Too much to think about. Letters to write. If you can find someone to carry them. Last prayers to offer. Final preparations. The stars wheel overhead. The same stars that shine on Sparta. On your family. You wonder if your son will remember you. He's only 6. Just about to enter the agoge. Will he remember his father's face, or will you only be a name? A story told to inspire him to similar stupidity. Your wife knew, of course. When you marched out, she didn't say come back with your shield or on it, like the other women. She just kissed you, held you for a moment too long, and whispered, "Make me proud." You will. You have. Tomorrow, you'll make her prouder still. The Thespian finds you again. He's written his letter, made his peace. I've been thinking, he says, about what you said, being already dead. And I think I understand now. We're not fighting to live. We're fighting to choose how we die. And this, he gestures at the pass, at the bodies, at the impossible. This is a good death. A death that means something. You nod. He gets it. Finally gets it. Tomorrow, he'll die like a Spartan. The third dawn comes too soon, and not soon enough. You've armored up one last time. Your bronze polished to a shine that would make Aphrodite jealous. Your hair is perfect. Your spear is sharp. Your shield is steady. You're ready. The Persians aren't playing around anymore. No more probing attacks. No more clever tactics. Xerxes has had enough. He's sending everything. Everything. They come like a tide, not in waves, but in one massive, continuous assault. Persians, Medes, Scythians, Bactrians, Indians, Ethiopians, every nation of the empire, flowing toward you like a river of bronze and iron and death. The impact is tremendous. The phalanx doesn't just hold, it buckles, bends, reshapes itself. You're not fighting a battle anymore. You're fighting a force of nature. Your spear breaks on the 10th kill, or was it the 20th? You draw your sword, the final argument, and make your points. Slash, stab, parry, repeat. A Persian sword rings off your helmet, leaving your ears ringing. You gut him for his trouble. Another takes his place. You kill him too. Another, always another. The Thespians are dying around you. They're dying hard, dying well, but dying all the same. The Thevans, who stayed, are giving ground. Only the Spartans push forward, always forward, because retreat isn't in your vocabulary. Leonidas falls. You see it happen, a spear through the gap in his armor, up under the arm. He drops to one knee, still swinging his sword. 3 Persians rush him. You and a dozen other Spartans surge forward, a desperate knot of bronze and fury. You reach him just as a Persian sword finds his neck. The king of Sparta dies on his feet, as it should be. What follows is madness. Spartans don't often go berserk. You're trained for discipline, not fury. But seeing your king fall, something snaps. You're not soldiers anymore. You're not even human. You're killing machines. Bronze automata, powered by rage and loss. You get Leonidas's body. Somehow, in the crush and chaos, you and your brothers drag him back. The Persians surge after you, desperate to claim the corpse. You stop them with sword, with spear butt, with fists and teeth. When weapons fail, you stop them, but you can't stop them forever. Someone, you never find out who, spots them first. Persians, behind you, coming down from the mountain path that was supposed to be secret, supposed to be guarded. You've been betrayed, outflanked, surrounded. It doesn't matter. There's a small hillock in the wider part of the pass. That's where you make your stand. What's left of you? Maybe 100 Spartans, a handful of Thespians. The Thebans surrender. You don't blame them. They're not Spartans. They didn't come here to die. You did. The Persians don't charge. Not anymore. They've learned that lesson. Instead, they surround you and wait. Xerxes himself comes to watch. You can see him on his portable throne, close enough to make out his face. He looks tired. 3 days to kill 300 men. Not exactly the glorious conquest he was hoping for. The arrows come first, thousands of them, a black rain. You huddle under what shields remain. But there aren't enough. Men fall. Your shield brother, the one who's covered your left side for 3 days, takes an arrow through the throat. You close the gap. Always close the gap. Then javelins, slings. They're going to kill you from a distance. The cowards. You bare your teeth in what might be a smile. Let them. Every arrow they waste on you is one they won't have later. You're down to maybe 50 men when the earthquake hits. No, not an earthquake. The sound of 10,000 men shouting in unison. A war cry, but not Persian. Not any language you know. Greeks, Greek reinforcements, charging down from the heights. For one wild moment, you think you're saved. Then you see the truth. They're not coming to rescue you. They're coming to finish what you started. To hit the Persians while they're focused on you. You are the anvil, they are the hammer, and the Persians are about to learn what it means to be caught between. One more time, boys, someone shouts. It might be you. For Sparta, you charge. 50 exhausted men against 10,000. It shouldn't even slow them down. But these are 50 Spartans, and you've been killing Persians for 3 days. You know their tricks. their timing, their fears. You tear into them like wolves among sheep. You don't see the spear that finally finds you. One moment you're fighting, your sword buried in a Persian's guts. The next, there's iron in your belly, and your legs won't work quite right. You go down swinging, because that's what Spartans do. The last thing you see is the Thespian. He's still fighting, still standing, surrounded by a ring of Persian dead. He catches your eye, and nods once, warrior to warrior, equal to equal. Then the darkness takes you. But here's the thing about dying at Thermopylae. You don't really die. Or your body stops working. They strip your armor, probably. Take your weapons as trophies. Xerxes has Leonidas' head cut off and stuck on a pole, because he's classy like that. But you become something else. A story, a legend, a lesson. 300 Spartans held off the largest army in the world for 3 days. 300 men who knew they were going to die and came anyway. 300 who looked at impossible odds and said, good, that means we'll definitely hit something. The Persian army that marches on from Thermopylae is not the same one that arrived. Oh, it's still huge, still overwhelming, but now they've learned that Greeks can be killed but not conquered. That free men fighting for their homes are worth any number of slaves driven by whips. Xerxes burns Athens. So what? The Athenians have already evacuated. He thinks he's won, but all he's conquered is empty buildings. The idea of Athens, the spirit of it is out on the waters with their fleet. You can't kill an idea with arrows. At Salamis, the Greek navy crushes the Persian fleet. At Plataea, Greek hoplites finish what you started. The invasion fails. The empire retreats. Greece remains free, all because 300 Spartans decided that a narrow pass was a good place to make a point. 2,500 years later, they still remember, or the details get fuzzy. Hollywood turns you into a demigod in a leather Speedo. Historians argue about the actual numbers. Was it really 1 million Persians? Was Xerxes really 9 feet tall? Doesn't matter. What matters is that when the powerful came for the weak, someone stood up. When the odds were impossible, someone tried anyway. When death was certain, someone decided to make it count. That's your legacy. Not the killing, though you did plenty of that. Not the dying, though you did that too. But the standing, the refusing to kneel, the insistence that some things are worth more than life. Every time someone stands up to a bully, you're there. Every time someone says no to tyranny, you're there. Every time someone chooses death over slavery, you're there. Still holding the pass, still making the bastards pay for every inch. Not bad for a bunch of guys who really like doing their hair. Sweet dreams, Spartan. The hot gates are quiet now. Tourists, snapping selfies where you bled out. Your bronze has turned to legend. Your legend, inspiration. And somewhere tonight, in some corner of the world, someone faces their own impossible odds and remembers 300 held the line. If they could do that, maybe I can do this. The pass you died to defend is just a highway now. But the idea you died for, that's still there. Still strong, still making tyrants nervous. Sleep well, soldier. You earned it.